Hey everyone, the United States is currently bracing for a series of powerful winter storms that are set to bring a complex mix of hazardous weather conditions over the next several days. This unfolding weather event is expected to impact millions of people across multiple states, bringing heavy snow, ice accumulation, freezing rain, and even severe thunderstorms with damaging winds, hail, and tornadoes. As if this wasn't enough, long-range forecasts indicate that another significant winter storm could develop by the middle of next week, potentially affecting areas even farther south than the current systems. The atmosphere is in a highly active state, and the days ahead will bring rapidly changing weather conditions that will require close monitoring. The impact of these storms will be widespread, creating dangerous travel conditions, power outages, and potential disruptions to daily life in many regions. At this very moment, a major winter storm is intensifying over the Central Plains and Midwest, where snowfall has already begun accumulating. The system has been strengthening overnight, and as the morning progresses, it will continue to develop, bringing a mix of precipitation types depending on the exact location. In many areas, moderate to heavy snowfall is already being reported, covering roads and making travel extremely dangerous. This storm will push northeastward throughout the day, bringing increasing snowfall rates and widespread freezing rain to parts of the Midwest and northern Ohio Valley by the afternoon. The accumulation of ice on roadways, trees, and power lines will increase the risk of power outages and travel disruptions. But before we get into the details, hit the subscribe button, like this video, and leave your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for your support. While winter weather is dominating the northern half of the country, the southern half is facing an entirely different set of challenges. A surge of warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico is fueling the development of severe thunderstorms, particularly in portions of the southeast. This warm air combined with strong wind shear is creating the potential for damaging straight-line winds, large hail, and even tornadoes. The risk for tornadoes will increase as the day progresses, with some storms capable of producing significant tornadoes, particularly in areas closer to the Gulf Coast. There is a strong possibility that weather conditions will become severe enough to warrant real-time coverage later today, and residents in at-risk areas should remain vigilant and have multiple ways to receive weather alerts. Meanwhile, a steady stream of Pacific moisture is feeding into the western United States, adding yet another layer of complexity to the national weather picture. A series of atmospheric river events are bringing heavy rain and mountain snow to California, Oregon, and Washington. This moisture-rich system is expected to dump several inches of rain along the coastal regions, increasing the risk of flash flooding and mudslides in areas prone to such hazards. In the higher elevations, snowfall totals could exceed several feet, making travel through mountain passes nearly impossible. As this system continues to impact the West Coast, it will send waves of moisture eastward, further contributing to the development of the winter storm unfolding in the central and eastern United States. The previous winter storm that affected much of the Midwest is still leaving behind lingering snowfall and ice accumulation, creating dangerous road conditions in many locations. Schools and businesses in some areas remain closed due to the hazardous conditions. And as the current storm intensifies, additional closures and disruptions are likely. The heaviest snowfall today is expected in parts of Illinois, Missouri, Iowa, and southern Wisconsin, where snowfall rates of 1 to 2 inches per hour could quickly create whiteout conditions. Nebraska, Kansas, and parts of western Iowa will see lighter snowfall accumulations, but even a small amount of snow combined with strong winds could lead to blowing and drifting snow, further reducing visibility. As the storm progresses into the afternoon, freezing rain and sleet will continue to be a major issue, particularly in areas stretching from Missouri into the Appalachian Mountains. Ice accumulation in these regions will make driving treacherous and could lead to widespread power outages as ice builds up on trees and power lines. By early evening, heavy snowfall will expand across the Great Lakes region, while freezing rain and sleet will continue to affect portions of the Midwest and Northeast. At the same time, the severe weather threat in the South will ramp up, with thunderstorms becoming more intense and more likely to produce damaging winds and tornadoes. Overnight, snow will continue across the Great Lakes and into the interior Northeast. In areas of upstate New York and northern New England, snowfall totals could be quite significant, with some locations seeing well over a foot of snow by the time the storm moves out. Meanwhile, the Southeast will still be dealing with the remnants of severe thunderstorms, and some areas could experience flash flooding as heavy rain continues to fall. By Thursday morning, the bulk of the snowfall will have moved out of the Midwest and Great Lakes region, leaving behind only scattered snow showers. However, parts of central and northern New England will still be dealing with freezing rain and sleet, which will make for hazardous morning commutes. As the storm system finally begins to weaken and move out, attention will quickly shift to the next major weather system developing in the western United States. Another powerful low-pressure system is expected to bring heavy rainfall to California, with some locations seeing 4 to 6 inches of rain over a short period. This will heighten the risk of flooding, particularly in areas that have already received excessive rainfall in recent weeks. Additionally, higher elevations in the western United States will see another round of heavy snowfall, adding to an already deep snowpack. Looking beyond the storm, forecasters are already tracking the development of another significant weather system expected to impact the country over the weekend. This storm has the potential to bring even more severe weather to the south, with a broader region at risk for damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes. Meanwhile, winter weather will once again impact the Midwest, Central Plains, and Northeast, with heavy snowfall and freezing rain expected. The ingredients for severe weather will be in place, and there is growing concern that Saturday could bring an outbreak of strong tornadoes in parts of the deep South and Tennessee Valley. Areas in Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama should pay close attention to forecasts, as conditions could become dangerous very quickly. By Sunday, the storm will continue its track eastward, bringing wintry conditions to the northeast while the threat of severe weather diminishes along the East Coast. However, this does not mark the end of the active weather pattern. Early indications suggest that yet another winter storm may develop by Tuesday of next week. While it is still too early to pinpoint exact details, this next system could take a more southerly track, potentially bringing winter weather to regions that do not typically see significant snowfall. Residents in the Southern Plains, Tennessee Valley, and portions of the Southeast should remain prepared for possible winter weather impacts. As we head further north, the situation changes quite a bit. The sharp temperature gradient that exists between the warm and cold air masses is quite noticeable. For example, in the Red River region, temperatures are already sitting at or below freezing. And this is where we're seeing the freezing rain that's been impacting Oklahoma this morning. From there, the freezing rain will continue to move eastward, spreading into Missouri, Kansas, and even Nebraska. Eventually, that freezing rain will transition into snow as it moves into Iowa, Illinois, and Michigan. If you're in these northern states, be prepared for slick roads and heavy snow later on today. And it's not just the snow that's going to be a problem, it's the cold. Places like Montana, Minnesota, and the Dakotas are already seeing temperatures well below freezing, and that's only going to get worse as the storm progresses. Looking at the hazard map for this storm, it's clear that this is a major event. You've got widespread winter weather advisories and storm warnings stretching across the central U.S. and into the upper Midwest. In addition, there's a significant risk of severe weather across the Southeast, and we also have flood watches in effect for a large portion of Southeast and East Texas. So whether you're dealing with freezing rain, snow, or severe storms, there's a good chance that you're going to be affected by this system in one way or another. The snow totals so far have been pretty impressive. The storm started with a significant snow event in the Boston area, where some places saw around 10 inches of snow. Then the system moved further south and dumped even more snow in the D.C. area with totals between 8 and 12 inches. But this storm isn't done yet. As it moves westward into Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska, we're going to continue to see snowfall, and by the time it reaches the upper Midwest and Northeast, those totals are likely to increase even more. So if you're in any of these areas, it's really important to stay updated on the weather because this storm has a long way to go. Now, when we look at the moisture in the atmosphere, it's clear that there's an abundance of it to work with. The Gulf is pumping in a lot of moisture, and with all the rising air in place, the ingredients are there for severe thunderstorms. And this moisture is going to lead to heavy rainfall, which is a major concern. Some areas in the south could see as much as 6 to 8 inches of rain. That's a serious flooding threat, especially in places like Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So if you're in these regions, it's really important to be prepared for heavy rain and possible flooding. We're already seeing power outages in Virginia because of the freezing rain, and that's just the beginning. The icing is going to continue to cause problems throughout the day, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. Later this afternoon, we're going to see an enhanced risk of tornadoes, and the yellow shaded areas on the map are where the greatest potential for strong tornadoes will be. This is where we could see tornadoes that are F2 or stronger, and the dynamics are coming together for some intense storms. Southeast Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi are the areas most at risk right now. If you live in these areas, make sure you're ready for a tornado warning at any moment. Once the storms move further east, the risk of severe weather will spread into Alabama and Georgia, and we'll see this threat continue into the evening. Looking at the radar right now, we can already see how this storm is shaping up. In the warm sector, there's heavy rain moving across Texas, and that's going to get even more intense as we head into the southeast. The freezing rain is already causing problems in places like Virginia and Oklahoma, and it's going to keep moving eastward. Snow is falling in Kansas, Missouri, and Nebraska, and that will spread into Iowa, Illinois, and Michigan. By the afternoon, we'll see the storm impacting even more areas, so be prepared for winter weather no matter where you are. Looking ahead to the next 48 hours, we're not done yet. There's still a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, and we're going to continue to see heavy rainfall and snow in a lot of areas. Some regions could see 6 to 8 inches of rain over the next 2 days, and that's going to cause some serious flooding concerns. Out in the west, there's another atmospheric river event taking place, which is going to bring heavy rain to California and increase the risk of mudslides. Snow is going to continue falling in the higher elevations, and we're going to see more snow across Nevada, Utah, and the Rockies. We're also going to see snow continuing to fall in Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, and the Great Lakes. And later today, we'll start to see snow moving into the Northeast, including parts of New York, Pennsylvania, and New England. By Saturday, we're going to see another powerful storm system move in. It could be even stronger than the one we're dealing with now, and that means we'll see more severe weather in the Southeast, including the risk of tornadoes. Snow will continue to fall across the Midwest, and the Northeast will see more snow too. So as we head into next week, the cold will continue to intensify. A second blast of Arctic air is going to drop temperatures 20 to 30 degrees below average in some places, especially in the central U.S. and down into Texas. The freeze line could push all the way to the coast by Monday, which is pretty unusual for mid-February. And the cold air won't stop there. It'll continue to move south, bringing some of the coldest temperatures of the season to parts of the country. The storm system will keep moving, and by the middle of next week, we'll see more snow and freezing rain in parts of the Northeast and Midwest and possibly even into the South. So be ready for another round of winter weather coming in. I know this is a lot to take in, but I'll be here with updates as the storm progresses. Stay safe, stay prepared, and be sure to keep checking back for more detailed updates. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any important information in the coming days. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next update.